Hello and welcome to episode 10 of our Timberborn Update 7 Folktails playthrough here in hard mode, cycle 14, day 1. And today's the day, friends. Today is the day. We are going to get into the 3D terrain finally and try to make some pretty good use of some areas over here with the help of overhangs and dirt on overhangs and all that other fun stuff. But there's still other things we have to get into as well. And you guys had a lot of stuff to say about the last episode, so thank you very much for your comments. I've summarized those in my little second monitor notes document that I've got running. So first off, I wanted to talk about the ladders, because a lot of people continue to insist that the ladders don't do anything without a path connected to the top of them, and honestly at this point I don't know what to believe, because it didn't used to require that. And I don't know, like, it says it's connected to the path system right here. It's not a very convenient location for this. That's why they're not using it. I don't think it's because it's not connected to the ladder. But at any rate, oh, you know, here they go. Here they go. I don't know, so maybe I'm stupid. Who knows? I could be like the biggest blithering idiot in the history of Timberborn. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on. Other stuff you guys have said, and I'm not really sure how to interpret it too, is these sluice gate right here. They have set to close below contamination. A lot of you seem to think that it's going to cause this to empty out during a drought, but no, I don't think that's how that's going to work. Just because it's not going to be contaminated water in a drought. It's going to be contaminated water in a bad tide. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading stuff wrong. But you guys wanted me to pull a floodgate or like dams or something behind this. I really don't. I don't understand what that's about. And neither of them have this downstream depth thing ticked either, so I think this is fine. Maybe it's that you were talking about this one. I don't know, but this one's also set to close above contamination along with these, so I really don't think this is a problem. This right here is set to close above downstream depth of 0.75, and then these are set to the equivalent of 0.8 relative height. So, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Like, again, if I'm actually wrong, please correct me. Like, this is not an issue of personal pride. This is an issue of I just don't understand what you're talking about. So, if you guys would care to enlighten me on that, that would be fantastic. But, seeing how that's fine for right now, I'm going to go ahead and move on to some of the other stuff you guys left comments about. Including, we have zip lines and pylons and all sorts of stuff, and I didn't know this was a thing. But apparently, if I take a zipline pylon and I put it in range, it's going to light up green like it did right there. And this no longer lights that thing up green. You see right there? So I didn't know that was a thing, so that's actually really nice. So a lot of you mentioned that, so appreciate you keeping me honest about all that stuff. We've got to decide what we're doing with our zipline stuff. There's a couple different approaches we could take. Right now we have very much a point-to-point from here all the way over to here, and I think long-term it's going to make more sense to kind of have one going around the perimeter and then a couple connecting to a central hub, wherever we decide that central hub is going to be. So the idea that I had, and I think a couple of you agree with this, is that if we put in like a central transit hub area where we have a whole bunch of these zipline stations just kind of next to each other, going in different directions, then that gives them options. You know, just like a subway station or a bus system or something in real life. You have options to get different places, different ways, depending on what's most convenient to you in your origin and destination locations. So that's something to think about as we keep moving forward. Other stuff kind of relating to the observatory. Yes, it is working. But we hadn't really populated it before the end of the last episode. We do, in fact, have beavers in here generating science, and we're going to use that science very, very soon, friends. We're going to use that science and get some dirt, and then we're going to get everything else situated just fine. But, of course, we have to have our treated planks to do that, which is what these guys are working on over here in this single wood workshop. A very, very slow process, but that's something we've been working on for a very long time. And we've got all sorts of other stuff that we want these guys to be able to take care of. So these maple trees also are finally growing in. They're going to be generating maple syrup, which we're going to have somewhere for them to put all of that stuff so it can be easily moved back to our area over here. So right now, we have this one bakery making bread, and this hasn't really been optimized very well. We've tinkered with it a couple times. We've moved a few things around, but I think we're going to be at a point pretty soon where we're going to have a pretty fundamental, just complete teardown and realignment of all of our different industrial processes for making food. Not right now. Not right now. I think I want to think about that a little bit more, maybe solicit some ideas from you guys, of course. But when we get maple syrup, we can start making maple pastries. I'll show you this recipe here. That, of course, is going to require the wheat flour, which we do have, and the maple syrup, and then, of course, the 1/10 of a log, like everything else in the bakery. But in order for us to do that, we are going to have to turn these two things back on, this grist mill and this power wheel. We do want to get everything connected. Power-wise, long-term goal for us there. But I know that was something that was commented very, very heavily, was that, hey, this is turned off, to get that turned back on. So we're going to do that. Don't worry. That's going to be something we're going to be taking care of. And then a lot of other comments about what to do with this area, different ways to fix things, utilize other stuff to get things accomplished. So right here, we have these 4 water sources. If we peel this back a little bit. So these generate a pretty decent amount of power, and if we want to, we could put a couple of water wheels in here and harness stuff with gravity batteries. There's plenty of height that we can take advantage of. But I think, long term, especially as we get into the longer droughts, the water wheels aren't going to be as important of a thing as the large windmills. And I asked, and you guys answered, a couple of you in the comments. The windmills have the same footprint for small and large. They just have a higher, like a taller hitbox if you build the larger ones. And obviously, this one has the potential to do 300 HP. This one has the potential to do 150. It's not always that high. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's very little. But slowly transitioning these into large windmills and then also connecting them to some gravity batteries. Like right here is a really super easy place to put some. We could make something a little bit more artistic, possibly, using one of these big towers. But that's all stuff that's going to come in due time. We just have to, be able to get stuff accomplished. And there's lots and lots of things we can do over here as well. I know we talked about tree farms and stuff. But now that we have zipline stations, we can pretty much do anything we want almost anywhere, because this says it's 82 distance to the district center. If we click on the rest of these, like this says 81. This says 82. That gives you an idea just how powerful these zipline stations are. Like this guy's 61, 67, and for this to only be 82, oh boy. Oh boy. See, like we could easily have like trees for wood and yes, chestnut enthusiasts, I say as I hover over maples. We could easily plant chestnut trees over here for growing chestnuts, and then we can have roasted chestnuts, grilled chestnuts, whatever the game calls these things. All sorts of opportunities. So, we didn't really get a definitive answer about what you guys wanted to do over here, but I think we're going to end up just getting into this at some point anyhow. But the main thing, like I said, this episode, get those treated planks in so we can get this dirt excavator going, so we can get some dirt excavated, so we can start putting it on top of platforms and all sorts of fun stuff, and finally do 3D terrain. And that's going to be super exciting stuff. A couple other people also said that they wanted to see aquatic farming here. And while that is a good idea, this will end up being completely dehydrated, dried out, evaporated, whatever, during the longer droughts. So that is why we were doing this originally, getting these dynamites in place, because this area is going to be constantly... Okay, get this at triple speed. This area is going to be constantly full, and that's what we were kind of working on here. So, knowing that that is a thing, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's put a ladder here. And then I'm going to put in... Remember, because now we have these zip lines, we don't have to have a bridge across the river here anymore. Now, we might still want to, depending on how everything else is laid out. But long term, I think we can do a lot of stuff really, really differently here. But, again, seeing how we have this zipline station here, we got a zipline station here, Everything is reasonably well connected. I don't think it's like that big of a problem if we have this stuff completely removed. But yeah, it's just stuff to think about as we continue moving along, getting things situated. But for right now, seeing how this is, I know I just put it down. I just put it down. I'm already getting rid of something. I'm just going to say, you know what? Let's just do this the simple way without, you know, causing any problems. Just get that right there next to that ladder. Super simple. And then I think I kind of want to just put this suspension bridge in here because I can. Also, we're gonna need those at some point anyway. But by putting that in there, now we have the option to come in and plant plants underneath this. No, you can't put that there. Oh, you can't put either of them? Oh, man. Oh, I thought for sure I was going to be able to plant something under the thing. All right, well, there you go. There's your sign. I made a stupid. Can they reach these? No, they cannot. Okay, well, that was part of the reason why I wanted to have this down here anyway. But yes, I'm going to be detonating this out a little bit more, and then I'm going to be planting cattails and spatterdock as we go through here. So the spatterdock every 12 days gives you 3 of those, and then when you put those things in the grill, 1 spatterdock turns into 3 grilled spatterdock. So every 12 days, assuming my math is correct, and yes, for those of you wondering, I am actually this stupid. I'm not making this up. You got to watch more of my videos to understand that. But every 12 days, we get 9 grilled spatterdock worth of stuff. And then cattails every 8 days, we get 3 of those, and then those have to go through the grist mill. And that gives us basically the same amount of cattail flour. And then that goes in the bakery and gives us 4 times the amount of cattail crackers per cattail harvested. So that ends up actually being pretty good. Every 8 days you can have 12 cattail crackers worth of stuff. So there is an advantage to having both of those going. Nice diverse foodstuffs. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and just kind of offset these a little bit. Just put them in rows because we can. You know the drill. Just get that done. And we can also make fuel out of spatterdock if we really felt like it, but I don't think we need to. So we'll just continue putting the rest of these in here. Man, in due time, we'll have all of these things processed, but that's going to come as we overhaul everything else. And we have space here that, if we're not using it for capacity, probably should be used for capacity for water. Probably should be just completely overhauled and have for different storage of stuff. But for right now, that at least gets something started here so we don't have to worry about it later as something that we forgot. And so on and so forth, continuing to move along. Other stuff. Thanks to the many of you who cited Zedek's video about water physics and all that fun stuff. We are going to be containing this into a 2 wide, putting water wheels in here, now that we know that this is basically going to give us the exact same amount of power, no matter if it's 2 wide or 4 wide, with twice the amount of wheels. So we are going to be working on that. But that is going to require that we come in here and get this stuff figured out, which also requires that we have additional treated planks. And that's such a slow process that we really, really, really need to speed it up. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, just get these guys unpaused. And I'm going to build a second wood workshop just right next to that. And we can start... Oh, bad tide approaching. Good. Good, good, good. Now that we figured out that this was a problem, because I had it just set to close all the time, no wonder it was flooding. We're going to get that going there. We have the science, and we need more power right now, and we still don't have the amount of treated planks that we need. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to say, you know what, let's take our 1400 science, research the large windmill, and take this one off of the end, and instead start building the big one there, since we know that's not going to interrupt our power generation for anything else. And this can continue being useful as we're working on everything else. Look at them, they're going quick for this. Real quick like. So that'll help us get things done a little bit quicker. And then, of course, we're going to have somewhere to put our, whatever this thing's called. Dirt excavator. There we go. 1,000 hours in the game, and I forget what the things are called. Probably cause for serious concern, but we're moving on. These water wheels here are generating a tremendous amount of power that we're not really using. So I think it's going to be in our best interest to make use of what we have here in these gravity batteries, so on and so forth. Obviously, a bad tide is still going to be generating power for us, so we're not going to have to worry about it quite yet, but when the big droughts come in, then that's going to be a scenario where we're really going to want to have additional power backup, so on and so forth. I cry for the flywheels in Update 7. If they work, I don't know, somebody might have said that they work, and I just forgot, but whenever I have those able to work in Update 7, then we will definitely be using them. But for right now, the gravity batteries are pretty much okay. So we just need... Oh, I forgot I had these in here. Good. Let's get that out of the way. Not that we're going to be using it right now, but now these all have 26,000 HPH capacity. But what I've been trying to say this whole time, dirt excavator's got to have somewhere to go, and it's got to be, you know, accessible, right? So, seeing how this is set up here probably is not a bad idea to just pop this thing in this general area so that we can have this blocked out in case we want to make this a longer thing in the future, generate a little bit more power with it. So I do think that's going to be a smart idea, but we're going to have to decide if we want to have this zipline station moved closer. I think the answer is probably going to be yes, but that is something that's going to have to be considered pretty quickly here. We also need to make sure that we don't have any incredible, horrible, bad things happen when this turns into bad water. So I'm actually going to hit pause real quick. And I'm going to see if they can make this happen. Get this staircase in place. And then remove all of these blockages, because I would much rather have that finished before we have any other bad stuff happen. So we'll see. Get these guys in here to remove everything else, if they can. If not, not a big deal. But any step we can take toward having this completely streamlined before we have to wait for it to get fleshed out after a bad tide, I think is going to be a smart thing for us to be doing. And there they go. They got that all done. So take those stairs away. Take these stairs away. Absolutely nobody is allowed to accidentally get in here and be stupid and, you know, all that good stuff. So I'm just going to very, very nervously check on these sluices as we get into the bad tide, but it looks like things are going quite well over here. This guy, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Putting up plenty of power, even though it's not as much as it's being demanded. We're going to be okay. We're going to be fine, especially once all of these get replaced. Remember, the goal is to get all of our treated planks going so that we can have everything nice and situated. But like I said, I remain eternally afraid of these automated things. I promise you, just because you understand how it works, it doesn't mean whatever. It just happens. I don't do it on purpose. My brain just fundamentally does not work correctly. And that's not something I can fix. But we got a 16-day bad tide. Let's slow that down to 1x speed. And again, there's no reason for me to be nervous about this. But, you know, sometimes that doesn't really matter. It says 1%. As soon as that jumps to 2, yep, okay, good. That's closed. That's closed. That's closed. This should open. Close below. Contamination 1%. As soon as this gets to 1%, we should, hopefully soon, see these tick open here. Come on. Okay, there we go. There we go. They did open. They did. So this is working correctly. I don't... Unless I'm just, like, really, really misinterpreting what you guys said in the comments. Like, a bunch of people are... I think is what you're saying is that this was going to completely flood everything, but it's working perfectly fine. So please enlighten me about what you meant here. Like, I'm legitimately, like, trying to understand. Like, I'm not trying to poke at you and say, oh, you didn't know what you're talking about. Like, I want to understand. I seek to understand, not to be angry about things. Almost always. So, please let me know if I'm just interpreting incorrectly there. But this area here that we had a problem with last time was due to this just being completely set wrong. So I just have that set to always open. That's set to auto close. That's totally fine. This is set fine. This area here set closed because That's how we had that on purpose, and I think everything is okay. I think it's okay. So not really sure what was going on with all that. But now we need to start making moves toward getting all of our stuff set up over here, which does mean I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove this zipline station, and we're going to move it to be over here. And I think, depending on how I want to have this set up, I know there's... Yeah, see, this is blocked by these things. But if I put, say, right here, to where this is basically just straight up the hill, I know it's blocking this this three-way thing that I put here in case I ever wanted to put anything else here, but I don't think we're going to need to worry about it. You put this here, they're going to be able to get to that, and they're going to be able to get over here. So I think that's probably our best way forward, is just pop that guy right there. And then, of course, from here, we can elect to go up this way, we can go over here, so on and so forth. A bunch of different ways we can get that stuff accomplished. I just figured we needed to get that going sooner rather than later. And we have the science, so let's go ahead. Unlock our dirt excavator. Remember, update 7 does not require extract for the dirt excavator. It just runs and runs and runs. So now I just have to pick my spot for this guy. I would like to probably have it about the same height there. I think right here is probably the best of all the worlds to put that in. So let's do that right there. Put that guy right there. See, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. What's going on? Did I do a stupid here? Like, what's is that like too close to something else or what? What's up with that? Huh. Well, that's very strange. It wouldn't let me put it on top of that one, but it would let me put it on top of this. Maybe it has something to do with that's what it was. That's what it was. It was the levees. Okay, well, now that you know what? You know what? Now this brings up a very interesting problem. I'm going to hit pause. Sorry. But somebody asked in the questions. Yeah, there we go. Asked in the comments. I think it was Hoff, but apologies if it was not. The question that was asked was, can you place a dirt excavator on top of overhangs that also have dirt on them? So I'm gonna set this up real quick. I'm gonna set this up because I know we have the science to research this. If I put terrain blocks just like this, put those terrain blocks like that, and we put a dirt excavator on top. See, this doesn't want to work, but I wonder if you got 3 levels of that. Is it gonna have to sit on top of finished dirt? Because if I were the devs and I were trying to get this set up to where people couldn't really super exploit the game in terms of doing stuff that like breaks the rules, so to speak, then I would make sure, if it were me, that this was not allowed, because the dirt excavator basically runs infinitely to give you dirt, and if you put it on top of dirt that doesn't have dirt below it, then, in my opinion, that kind of breaks the spirit of whatever this mechanic is. So I don't know, and I don't want to take the time right now to actually build this just to find out, but if you know in the comments if this does work, if this dirt is actually placed, or if it doesn't work because it would never work, blah, 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 do let me know, because I was very intrigued when I read that. I said, you know what? I want to try that. But I don't want to take up like an entire episode doing it, because, that's not really a very good or smart use of my time or your time in the kind of videos that I make, at the very least. So anyway, just want to make sure we acknowledge that, because I thought that was a really, really cool question to ask. But we're going to go ahead and get this situated. I will go ahead and pop in another gravity battery here just to get that all hooked up. And we will continue placing in other diamond. We obviously don't have extract yet, so it's not that big of a deal, and this is not a huge priority, but I am very, very curious to see all this. I really like the mechanics of this game when it comes to stuff like the terraforming and all that, especially now that we have all this new stuff that we really haven't done anything with. I'm just really, really curious. I think it's fascinating. So, yeah, they're going to get into this. And this, again, in this exact spot, specifically chosen so that we can extend this out further. Might end up moving it, might end up not. We'll get it figured out. Not really that concerned about it, but we do absolutely want to get this going so we can play with our 3D terrain. And I'm especially interested to kind of cap this off with a little bit more farmland. I think that would be kind of fun. I know that's something that we had discussed ad nauseum. So we are waiting on planks for this, which, oh, you know what? I created a little bit of a monster here because now they have to take all the way up here to build this thing. And it's going to be a slow process. But once that gets put in place, that should be pretty good. Let's check on why this is going so slow here. Is it because of the pine resin? Yeah, it seems like it probably is. But there's plenty to be harvested. Looks like the pine resin stock is actually full. We got these guys in here. Actually have a decent stock of those things. Yeah, so, you know, not perfect over here, but, you know, not terrible. Things are progressing very slowly, but we're getting it done. Getting it done, getting it done, getting it done. Now, let's see. There's a couple other things. Need to check replant dead trees not marked for cutting. Although this one specifically, that probably isn't a problem. This one, we don't have a forester here anyway. But I think that was probably something somebody was referencing with these, because these got killed by the bad water coming in here. We're going to get this fixed. We're going to get it improved long term. You know, it's just one of those things. But now I'm very curious. As soon as we get our terraforming in place, very, very, very motivated to get this situated a little bit nicer so that everything is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys in here a little bit more to get rid of these trees. We also have to get across the way here, and I think probably the easiest way to do that is going to be to just, you know, build across there. We have tons of wood stuff. The wood stuff's looking pretty good. But we do need to get these things taken care of nicely here. And I think it's probably the easiest way is just to build like that. I'd like to avoid splashback if at all possible, and I think this isn't going to matter because it has all these edges here anyway. But we'll see what happens as we continue making progress toward our goals this way. At least this is in place now. That's good. Probably might be worth putting another station over here for the construction of all this, but I don't know. Is that going to be a stupid thing? Because long term, there's not really going to be anything going on over here except just the water wheels. But this isn't so incredibly expensive that it just makes it impossible to get anything done here. Okay, so this is further away. This is too far away? It must be. All right, well, here is... Yeah, that's going to be fine. That's going to be fine. We'll just have that connect there. Oh, I forgot to look at what the distance was. Let's check this again. Okay, yep, that was the 30 meters. Cool. So that's going to be helpful there because we're going to be able to have a couple of piles. Well, one for dirt is probably totally fine just to get that taken care of there. This area right here definitely needs to have probably a large pile, if we're being honest with ourselves. So let's blast this out a little bit. Get that taken care of. It's all going to take time. But it looks like, treated plank-wise, we're looking pretty good. We got 30 left to go. So bring them back over here. They're going about as fast as they can. There's not really too much else we can do about that. And these ruins are just about finished, ready to go as well. So we'll be able to kind of reorganize this. Now's not a great time to be planting trees over here because we are in the middle of a bad tide. But as time goes by, I do think we are going to want to come over here and wrest control of this landmass with the help of our contamination barriers. Could be very, very easily put through here, but now that we're going to get terrain blocks, we probably want to increase the surface area of this island as well and take advantage of what we can when we can. You know, that's how we do it. We have cattail roots coming in here, which begs the question, what do we do about powering all of this stuff? Remember, that's what we're trying to do. I think the best thing that we can get into at this point with that is once we put in our power wheels here, then we're going to want to make a structure to get power across this way. And then remember, because we have the 3D terrainer, we will very soon, we could actually make a multi-story aquatic farm. It might be a little stupid, but hey, that's what we do here, right? We do stuff that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense just because we can. And that's part of the fun. So, you know, if you want to see something like that, let me know, and we can definitely try to do it. But if everybody thinks that's just like a really, really dumb thing, then all right, we don't need to waste our time with that. But I think it would be kind of cool. I kind of want to do it. But all that to say, the grist mill and everything, it needs to be automated, power connected, whatever. And I think the best thing for us to do with that is just going to be to put a couple of these. And then, depending on what it is we're making in the bakery, like the cattail crackers, it's like a two-step process, right? You have the grist mill and you have the bakery. So we might as well just make them all in the same spot, pretty close to the aquatic farmhouse. And right up here, if we're not going to demolish this at all, right up here would probably be a pretty good spot for that once we have all of our power network and stuff put in place. So, looking from a height perspective, this is already just about the perfect height. We just have to have a little bit of a power bridge. With the help of our overhangs, I think would be a smart thing to do. Just get those nice all the way across. But I am going to have the longer ones here. I think the 4x are going to be plenty long for that. So let's get that researched right there. And you might be saying, wait a second, you're not going to be able to walk on top of these. And you would be correct. So what we actually want to do, if we're going to commit to being up here, or maybe on this side would be a better choice. What we actually want to do is we want to have this set up here, and then that set up there. And what that's going to allow us to do, if you just kind of excuse this nonsense we've got going on here, put in a double hive, put in that guy, and then once we get across to this area and everything's put in place, then we can just have this go zoop all the way across. And then depending on how we want to build stuff over the top here, remember we're trying to put a second story of maybe some more farming up here. Or maybe just, you know, put a cap on this because it's ugly and we don't want to look at ugly. That's always an option. But point of what I'm trying to make here is that we need to have power come across this way and then connect to something over here. All in due time, and we will get there. Just, you know, takes time. And they've got to come up here to put these power shafts on top of this, and I know that's a whole thing, because you can't really reach it from underneath. You have to get up on top, and, you know, it's always a process. You just got to let it happen. Get these guys over here, cut these trees down. They actually don't have access to a lumberjack flag, I don't think. So let's give them one. That'll get all those trees out of there. There we go. That should get that taken care of pretty nicely. So long as we don't have any stupid silly billies like we so frequently seem to do. I think that guy was going to work on that, and then he noped out of it. But yeah, they'll get that all taken care of in due time, as one does. Why do we have somebody just, you know, chilling here? Now, why are you just... Are you stuck here? What's going on? What's going on, dude? Must have got stuck on the ladder somehow. That's very weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Okay, now we're waiting, of course, on treated planks there. That's fine. Get that blown up. Continue working on what we're working on. That's done. Get that popped in place. Continue doing, you know, all this nonsense like we do. Slowly. Slowly. All right. So now's where we have to decide how we're going to have these things laid out here. Because I think probably if I put this here, that would go there, which means this one would go here, 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 and then, oh, yeah, look at that. All right, well, you know what's great about that is that's going to line up directly with this. And all we'd have to do is just get that to come out this thing here. And I think what's going to make the most sense, because I know the vanilla game does not have power shafts that have any different connectivity going vertically like these guys do. I know there's probably mods for that. I don't know if they work in Update 7, so I haven't bothered looking. But probably the thing that's going to make the most sense is to come across this way. And I will put a T intersection there just because we can. Just in case we ever need to do anything else. But yeah, they're going to be able to make pretty quick work of most of the rest of this to get nice and connected. And it should be a pretty, pretty simple, pretty painless transaction. Everything takes time. You know, I know. It's our favorite motto ever. But that's because it's real. Somewhere, someone is absolutely screaming at their computer because this is a suboptimal way to do it. And if that is you, I want you to know that I care about you and that it's going to be okay. 8 treated planks left, and then we'll have some dirt, and then we can get into all this other fun stuff. I might as well go ahead and detonate this. Since we're gone there. I actually, we've been making explosives, and we haven't even been using them. Which probably isn't a super great way to go about doing things. But we got not quite halfway into our bad tide. We're already making some really good progress here. Now, are you actually out of stuff to do in range? Or no, that's because these guys haven't gotten any dirt yet. Okay, well, that's to be expected, I suppose. So instead of stairs, we can solve that problem by putting in a ladder instead, because that allows transit on this other side. This probably doesn't need to go away, but I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it anyway, because that solves more problems than it causes. You just let these guys do what they got to do. You know the drill. They already got this stuff in place, so that's cool. I don't think there's going to be any scenario in which we really need to be up here. How much power is this generating, actually? 159, 202, 120. Why are these so different? Oh, okay, because this is still wide. That's still wide. That's 146. This one. It's not going to give me anything yet, huh? Yeah, so we'll let them take care of that. Get the rest of these pieces in here. This water is slowly going away, but we're not going to run out. It's going to be fine. Long term, though, we do still definitely want to increase the amount of water we can store in here, and that's going to be something that's going to come in due time with all of our explosives. And then eventually the upgrades to the centrifuge and everything. One thing at a time. Do what we can do. How are we looking here? Just a little bit of scrap metal left. Just a little bit left, but I think we should be just about ready to have this guy complete. Yeah, 5 treated planks left. Just in time to put this large pile right here, set to dirt. That's going to be fun, folks. That's going to be cool. Got 5 injured beavers. Okay, you know what? We've got medical beds. I think I've only got 4. Yeah, let's go ahead, for right now, let's go ahead and put in 2 more medical beds. Get those guys utilizing that stuff. And I think we might as well go ahead. We're going to need more beavers anyway. Let's go ahead and get rid of a couple of inventors here. And I'm going to say that we put in, if we put in a double lodge right about here, that's going to give us the ability to put in a couple other things right here that are going to benefit a bunch of beavers. Then we got our different lantern stuff that's already right there, so that's fine. But these don't have one of those. This guy covers all that. That covers those. That covers those. I don't know. We got some stuff we can think about. I have the science now to actually like spend this stuff, so I put this piece in on top of that. I always liked how those look. I think that's pretty cool. So that's a good thing to do there. I know we talked last time a little bit about putting in additional rooftop terraces up here. But I do want to eventually redo all of our beaver housing. It's kind of a sprawling nonsense complex right now. And while that is charming, it's not really like, the most efficient thing you've ever seen. So at some point we'll get that fixed. But now we got 1 treated plank left. Very, very soon this will be complete. Oh, just in time for the end of the day. But yeah, now we're going to have a tremendous quantity of dirt coming through here, and we'll be able to get this all fixed up, generate a nice quantity of power, and then we'll be able to utilize a lot of this space, and that's going to be cool stuff. Now, I know we have a lot of logs, and that's been a problem we've had to solve for quite some time. Let's go ahead and research the underground pile. And over here, we have actual, wood being pulled out of the ground. Because that's definitely how trees work, right? We got to have storage for all that somewhere. And, you know, this, not my best idea. Really and truly not my best idea. So I think what's going to make the most sense is for us to just say, you know what? We made a mistake, and by we I mean me. Made a mistake, and this is not what this is supposed to be like. Let's just get these things out of here. Gonna blow this one thing up here. And then I'm going to put an underground pile, well, underground. And then that's going to be where we're going to store our wood. I think that's going to be fine. Because there's so many trees that are just not being harvested here because we haven't been making good use of our resource storage. So on and so forth. I just got to let these guys do what they're going to do, get that stuff out of there, and then we'll go back to it. But we are finally making dirt, which means we can get all the rest of this stuff taken care of. I'm assuming that's what they're probably doing is, yeah, they're putting all that stuff over here. Eventually, get everything taken care of, because it does just take time. I think now I can safely get rid of those stairs, and we just have to decide where we want our power to come out. And if we're going to make this like a whole area for farming and making food stuff, I take a look at the bakery again. The only things that we really need to be doing in this exact area is grinding up our cattails and then probably the wheat as well, since that's going to be right there. So really the only thing we have to have right here is a couple of grist mills. And I think if we want to make good use of this space, we probably could have that pretty close to right here. Just make sure we stack things appropriately, because we do have ladders now. Gears, there's no reason for the gears to be right here. But this is... Actually, it's not the only gear storage we have. Huh. Okay. Well, I do still want to get rid of that, because I think this is going to be a good opportunity to put in some other medium warehouses, so on and so forth. Get this stuff situated a little bit nicer. Just a little bit. And, you know, we might as well just have this set up slightly better here with all of this dirt. It is going to take some time for them to do that. But since this is all connected anyway, just get that out of there. And then let's put in a ladder, I guess. Oh, I can actually place this directly over paths now? Oh, that's cool. That must be one of the new update things with the ladder mod. But I pop that guy in right there. And then they'll have easy access to... I guess I could just go ahead and say this needs to be regular wheat. And then this could be for regular cattails. And then across the way, we probably don't need to have a giant warehouse for all this stuff. Probably would much rather have the giant warehouse for the food stuffs that go with all this. But if we went ahead and popped this here and here. Now, I know this is going to take a super long time for them to get all this stuff taken care of. That's totally okay. Totally fine. But wheat flour and then the cattail flour. I always get those things confused. And we pop in here with a grist mill, because this is something that can actually be built right now. Pop that right there. Give them that path there. Put a straight power shaft. I guess right here is probably fine. And then that way, we have that set up like that. We can kind of communicate power out from this way, and they can actually start making stuff whenever the time arises that it's going to make sense for that to happen. Now, to get up here, since I don't have these ladders in place, is going to be a huge ordeal until that gets taken care of. But remember, everything just takes time. Get a bakery in place. That's going to be for our cattail crackers. Probably the easiest thing for us to do there. So cattail flour, bakery right next to that. Just for the supreme convenience of having that right there. And then this bakery as well for the bread. And, you know, it's not perfect, but it's going to be a tremendous asset compared to what we already have going on. And that's fine. That's what we want to see. Now the fun thing is we have to get the power over here still. So we can either come across this way and just have it come down. Or we can figure out some sort of nonsense depending on how you want to have this thing hooked up. I don't think it really matters that much, truly, but we'll go ahead and get that taken care of there. I guess we could leave that in place. Just go ahead and get this whole thing situated. They can start building that mess, and then they can build the rest of this mess, and then everything mess. Because it's all a mess, but it's our mess, and we love it that way. So then once that's all taken care of, then this will just fit super nicely, and we can have everything walk underneath in case we need that to be accessible. Again, just one of those things that takes time. We'll get it all taken care of. Yeah, I think that's not going to be a tremendous problem. But we do need to have... Remember what I said before is we're going to put underground storage over here for logs, and I didn't do it, and then I forgot about it, and now it's now, and I have to do it, or else bad things are going to happen. So, alright. It's time for chaos, because I know how much you guys love that. Let's just dump all that stuff on the ground. Let them do it. It's going to be fine. But I'm not going to get rid of this log storage until this one's in place. Yeah, just get that all taken care of. Should not be a big issue. And then we can start, you know, kind of getting the stuff a little bit better organized. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the large warehouse involved, because we are going to have gear storage. We probably don't need 1,200 gears, but 200 is really not going to be enough. So maybe instead of worrying about that so much, we'll just put in another couple of these little storages here. So I'll just make another gear storage in this spot. Be totally fine. And now it's cycle 15. Oh boy, and we still haven't gotten all of our everything figured out. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. The builders are certainly having a time. They're certainly having a time because somebody disconnected super convenient walking routes, and that's definitely a thing. But it looks like we've got just about all of our ruins away from here. And as soon as that's done, I can get rid of these scavenger flags. And then we need to think about moving metal blocks somewhere else. The refinement, of course, is going to have to move somewhere as well. And we're going to have to figure out what our next source of metal is going to be. Now, I know we have ruins over here. But this is a big map. And I do want to try to explore more of it. Get stuff connected, because now we have all these fantastic zip lanes, right? So we do have underground ruins here. We've got ruins here. It looks like they're finished here. Let's go ahead and just get rid of these. So that solves that problem. And there's other spots throughout the map, I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm thinking of the other map. Oh, yeah, see, this guy right here. He's like right in the middle of this Badwater stuff. But Folktails, if you remember, the mine here kind of sucks. It's very, very slow. So I'm not really incentivized to go ahead and set that up, but there is going to come a time where we need to have it. And I'm not sure I'm super excited about that. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, it's going to make the most sense for this moment right now for us to just get the closest ruins we can with what we have access to. And, you know, that's usually a good choice. We do have the ability to continue getting into different corners of stuff. But for right now, it's not a hugely pressing need. But I did want to acknowledge that, because I know that's going to come up. We will probably next episode start making some more inroads toward other parts of the map to get at more metal. But for right now, we have enough metal blocks, we have enough scrap metal to do most of what I think we need to be doing. At least without getting too worried about it. Okay, so this needs to be set. That needs to be set. And then we also, you know, have to get the actual power over here. So that is a whole thing and a half. Let's just say, all right, let's bring this, because this doesn't have to be here either. This is not really a very good spot for log storage. Let's just say come right over the center here. And by right over the center here, I mean not right over the center, because I realized that was going to be an absolute disaster if we tried to do that any other way. Come up here. Then this way could be built very easily. Just like that. Yeah, just get that right there. That means that can go away. And then I think, actually, if I put that in there, then that looks a little funky. a little fun, maybe. Maybe it's not fun. Maybe you think it's terrible. In that case, that's totally okay. But I believe... Oh, no, they're not going to be able to build this. Well, that's their problem. I just got to get... Oh, hey, that actually merges into a single thing. That's nice. That looks good. I'll just get him back on top of this thing again. Why not? Why not? There's no rule that says the dog can't play basketball. So just continue getting our pieces put in. Slowly, slowly. You know what's really funny / not that funny? Yep. Oh, okay. It's a bad tide again. That's going to be fine. This is open, right? Yeah. See, we're doing so well for so much of this stuff that it just hasn't even remotely been an issue. We're just kind of running around doing whatever. Do I want to go ahead and build another pile for planks? I think I might want to go ahead and make this a deep underground pile. Let's do that. Let's empty this out. When are you going to get to the 3D terrain? We're getting there. We're getting there. We will have that done. Oh, I had that emptied. Wait, where? Oh, the planks are all going across the map. That was definitely not a smart choice. Oh well. Now that we have dirt, we have 222. The dirt's actually almost full up. I know we were working on the rest of this stuff. See, this is the part where we've got to figure out how this is going to get situated up here. Because I think if we want to just completely cover this up, that might be a little bit of a tall order with what we have access to right now. But I think... See, that's a 4x. Would this be 4? Oh, I can actually do a lot of this with just 4s. Oh, but that's a lot of metal. That's a lot of metal. But if I do that way, then I can also just put a 2, if I unlock the 2x1. Just put a 2 there, and then we can definitely start putting terrain in here. Very easily. Very easily, just start putting that there. And I'm really hopeful that this isn't going to be bad water infected. I've never messed with this before. This is the very first time I've played with this. So, apologies if you're, you know, sitting there saying, oh, you're about to commit terrible disaster, what a bad idea, whatever that stupid memeing sports announcer thing was from like 6 months ago. But we're learning together. That's part of my brand. That's what we do. So, appreciate your patience with all that fun stuff as the beavers and the builders and everybody just kind of, you know, fumbles through this whole thing together. But I do very much want this to be as situated as possible before it becomes too much of a tremendous pain in the butt. I probably could stand to have some more builders, but now I'm out of beavers again. And we did say we're going to grow some trees up here. And I did say I was going to get these things out of here. So for right now, let's just go ahead and say that this right about here, we don't have to min-max every single square or whatever, but I think right about here is going to be a good spot for us to put a little water dump in. And then just because it's convenient, it's close-ish, let's start growing chestnut trees here. That's not a bad thing to have, I don't think. We got all sorts of stuff we can be messing with. Just got to get it all taken care of. Although I'm very anxious to get power in place, so let's absolutely get the rest of this taken care of so we can actually use stuff. That is that's a little bit non-negotiable there. I know we're very patiently waiting for all of this to be taken care of. Remember, I'm just as excited as you guys are, because this is all fresh, new, fun stuff for me. All right, bad tide number 2 of this episode. 18 days. 18 days. Now that we are reasonably confident this has no chance of failing, looks like that's gone about as well as we could expect. There we go. There we go. Okay, so this is connected now, which means hopefully there's no beavers over here. If there are, then don't do that. All right, that's taken care of. Let's put in this water wheel here. Oh, okay, so these logs and planks are never going to be seen again. Goodbye. Yeah, but that can get built, hopefully, sooner rather than later. This is already done. This needs to get put in place. This needs to get put in place. Why was that not connected in the first place? Well, regardless, that'll get taken care of. And I know this has to get connected as well, and that's something we're going to be working on. Eventually, I think probably what's going to make the most sense is for us to put this across here. I think they can build this. Should be able to. And I don't technically have to have this bridged all the way across here, but I figured I might as well anyway. Just to do that. Make sure they can actually get this constructed. It's going to be a while, right? Because there's so much other stuff going on. But they're going to do it. They're going to do it. All right, so this overhang's in place. This one needs to get built. Probably should have metal storage over here. That would be a smart thing, no? You'd think I would have thought of that already. So I know this is not like the best possible place for it, but I am going to put it here anyway. Just so it's... this is about as far from one of these zipline stations as I could have possibly put it, huh? Well, plank storage there. This does not need to be plank storage. This actually would have been a good spot to put more metal storage. So, guess what? That's what that's going to be now. So, bring it on in. Let's go. Get these metal blocks in here. You have access right across the way here. Boy, I should have done this a whole lot better, but that's how it goes. Let me just check my list here and make sure there isn't anything huge that I missed. We will not end this episode until we have some 3D terrain placed in place. That I can promise you, because I am very excited to see this actually work. But, regardless, I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot. This is looking nice, even if it's looking nice because everything's fully grown and can't be harvested. You know, they'll get fixed eventually. All right. Yeah, see, they're not even close to working on this stuff. But hey, look, we got terrain on top of a thing. Woohoo! Oh, it's just fun. It's just fun, folks, to have all this actual terrain in place that we can continue just filling in on top of this. You know, it's going to take time. That's the nature of the thing. That's how it goes. But at least now we have metal over here that we can actually reach. Looks like they're getting this water wheel in place. Should be done soon enough. And as soon as I see that thing rotating, we're going to pop this in here. Is this actually a pathway? Yes, it is. Let's get rid of that. T intersection. Get that going, and that's going to hook all these guys up, making plenty of power. This is already here. Yeah, now we get to do like everybody's like least favorite construction method. Is waiting for this to get done one piece at a time. But, like I said, before we're done, these are going to be operating. And we will have massively improved at least some process. Even if it's not tremendously amazing. Still getting something done. Alright, so now that's got to get put up here. I guess, you know what? Depending on how we want to have this set up, I probably don't even need to do too much more to this. I need to have a forester, which I know we can put there. And I can put in a water dump, fluid dump, whatever dump. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a gatherer flag here just so we don't have to worry about it later. And then this is going to be set to plant chestnut trees. And I know there's a lot of poison coming through here, but that hopefully will become less and less of a problem as time goes on, because we're going to get put, wow, fantastic command of the English language there. Nobel laureate quality. Let's put some terrain blocks in place. You know, eventually, when we get there, I am going to go ahead and not pause the beaver. I want to pause the gatherer flag. Get that situated so we can, when the time comes, actually have this ready to go. Should be super, super helpful there. All right, we're almost there, folks. We're almost there. I know. Just got to get this one straight power shaft in place, and then they can build everything else from underneath. Hopefully with a minimal weeping and gnashing of teeth. Come on now. Bring this thing in here. I know these people have places to go. And they weren't counting on this video being an hour 5 minutes long today. Alrighty. Looks like that's all good to go. In case we want to do something else with that later, I will put in a teeter section here. But now, friends, they don't have to go up on top of the ladder, which means they can build all of these at the same time. And then we can finally have power for all of this stuff. And we can continue putting additional land up here. Now, this is interesting, because this is not irrigated. I think we're going to have to do a little bit of experimentation with how this is set up. I think, yeah, probably doesn't really matter, but we'll see when this gets connected here. I want to know if this is going to irrigate over the bad water with all this. And I probably should have just, spent some time in a testing world playing with this. But I really like doing this in real time while recording the videos because I think it's fun. I think it's a whole lot of fun, or a whole lot more fun at least, to do it that way. Because then it's authentic, right? That's got to count for something. Well, regardless, this is now operating. Why does this still say it doesn't have... Oh. Well, somebody made a stupid mistake. This whole time I'm thinking, oh, what do you mean it's not connected? Where's it going to... I didn't even connect this. Oh, this side doesn't have to be connected here, but I think we're going to end up doing something else with this anyway, so I did want to put that in place. Very, very, very interesting stuff here, folks. Before we say goodbye, I do want to put in a little bit more here, just to see what this is going to look like. So we can come in from this side here. Coming from that side there. I think, yeah, judging by how these are reacting, I think it's going to communicate the irrigation just fine across here, which is really cool. That's going to be really cool, because I think this would be a great place, since we're having the grinding and stuff, this would be a great place to just grow wheat. Very, very convenient for our wheat grinding and all that. Reclaimed land right here. I think that's going to be super cool, and I'm really excited to get into that. But obviously, these guys have plenty of other stuff they need to be doing. And I think, all things considered, we've accomplished about as much as we can hope to accomplish today. So that's where we're going to leave it, folks. Again, taking a look at the notes, we did accomplish pretty much everything that I wanted to get to. One of the more important things was to get this hooked up here. I know we have tremendous extra power. We need to connect this up, but we just do not have the time right now to do that without me feeling like I'm just making these episodes way too long. So that'll be a thing we do next episode, getting this hooked up to this, and that's going to make it really, really nice to have power for all this stuff. I still kind of want to mess with the whole dirt excavator on top of dirt that's on top of a platform thing. Again, if you know if that works or not, please do comment, but I figured instead of just spending an entire episode worth of time doing it in a video, if it wasn't going to work, then that would be a tremendous waste of time, and I don't think anyone would appreciate that. But we did start getting some chestnut trees and stuff going very, very slowly. But the progress is being made, and I think we can all be pretty happy with that. I'll just get the rest of these popped in here so they can start growing. And then in due time, all of this will get turned into chestnut growing as well. I kind of want to get more land in here before I plant anything else on this side. But yeah, we're making it happen over here. Very, very slowly, but we are making it happen. And we don't really have any storage for pine resin at all. So that's a problem we got to solve. With this thing right here. I know I said I was going to end the episode now, but I do want to actually, make use of some of this space and some of this stuff that we said we're going to do. Because it, it does actually have to go somewhere. I have to have a storage for maple syrup, because I do not have one. That's just a tremendous waste to not have access to that. So, the only other thing that I guess I should be doing is I should have... You said you're going to do the episode 3 times already? Yeah, look, that's how it goes. That's how things work here. I'm going to put this one bakery here, just so we have it going. And I'm going to put a little tank storage for maple syrup. And I know we don't have anywhere to store the food that comes out of this yet. We'll do that next time, don't worry. And then now we got to think about, you know, alternate zipline routing and stuff. So tons of stuff to think about. We get to put on our urban planner hat and try to make a subway system that doesn't completely suck eggs. But, like I said, like 3 minutes ago, that's all the time we got for this one. I really appreciate you sticking with me through suboptimal voice quality and taking time off to make sure I wasn't dying or whatever. So who knows what's happening, but we're making videos, we're having a good time, and you folks are a huge part of the reason why, along with the beard boosters, that we can even consider still doing all this stuff. So I really appreciate the support. I'm having a blast playing with this new update, and I'm really excited to get into even more of the fun as we continue into the next episode of this series, which hopefully can be Thursday. But that's all the time we got for this one. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you again very, very soon. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.